Hi everyone, welcome to C programming course. So this is Anam Salmahan and I'm a campus student for course. So without any further delay, let's jump into our today's agenda. That is structure of C programming. First we will look into, and then we also look into the comments and finally we also look into variables and data types. So let me open my editor, which is code blocks which you already installed yesterday. I'll open the console application here and also click on this go. I'll choose a language which is C. Now I'll give a title here as fundamentals. It's- and then yeah. So now I'll just open this main.c here. Yeah. So this is the basic structure of C programming, which defaultly given by this compiler, the code block compiler, the code blocks editor. So yeah, so from line number one, we're going to look into we're going to explore what is exactly mean by. So on line number one, uh, they have mentioned hash include stdio.h. So what is hash include stdio.h? We have that. So this is the header file. So what is header file exactly mean by? So, for example, here actually we are so here actually we are using this printf function here. So, what actually printf statement actually we not discussed it. So, but what I will say is, for example, if like I'll just run this code, yeah. So now we are getting this printing the hello world. What are we like within this printf function within this double code, the printf function? Whatever we write a text document the text or anything like whatever we write within this double quotes and that everything is going to print in this output screen. That is what we use. That is a useful of the printf statement, printf function. Sorry. So now, here actually we are using the printf function. Like whenever we mention the printf function, it actually automatically printing in our output screen. Actually, how it exactly works and how what is the code behind this printf function, we actually don't know about it. We don't even bother about it. But because we having this header file regarding this printf function, like what exactly it has to do and everything, they already mentioned each and every point in this header file. We are just using this header file on library. By using this library, we're just printing our whatever we want in our output screen by just using this printf function, the printf function defined in this header file or library. That is the reason we are just including this header file. Even we can also write our own header files that now I'm going to show for you. Then you also get some more idea about the header files. So let me open the file explorer and then I'll just go to this fundamentals. So where we have saved my project here. Now I'll click on this new text document. You have to give some name here. After the name, just give dot and then mention h. And you can give any name. Here I'm just giving Sai. Give any name here. So now once you create the file, open it. Okay, just opening in time. Now, actually, don't bother about the code here. The, don't bother about the code here. Whatever I'm just writing here. Don't bother about the code. Everything we're going to look into in our upcoming videos. So don't bother about it. So within this print section, I'm going to print some text here, like welcome to the. Before closing this file, just going to save it or Control S, then close the file. Now open the editor. Now include this file. Yeah. So when it comes to user-defined header files, the syntax. like a little difference within double quotes. We have to mention the file name which we have saved in this. Here I have saved with the name of sci.h. So I have to I'm going to mention with the same name sci.h here. When it comes to inbuilt header files, we're going to write within the arrows, whereas here in the user defined function, you're going to write it within the double quotes. So now I'm going to use this function. Just let me open before using for actually printing it. Yeah. So here actually we are using the printf function. When it comes to sci.h, I have created the function with the name of display function. So I'm just using here display function. So now I'm going to mention the display here. So I'm going to mention the display function. When it comes to hd.ioh, and there I'm like here I'm just using the printf function from the hd.ioh h file. So when it comes to my own file, I'm just have mentioned with the name of display. So whatever the name which you have, the name the same thing you have to mention here. See now, could you guess what going to be the output is? Yes, you are right. So now we're going to now the output screen going to print. Like within the main function, we have a display function and the printf function. So first going to print the display function. What are we mentioned in this file? So I.h. Hello, welcome to class. And then we're going to print the hello world, which is already mentioned in main function that we're going to mention here. So now, uh, so this is what the basic code of this is what about the header files, the user defined header files. So now we'll jump into this structure, back to the structure like the int main. So here it is here we have the int main. So what is int and main? Int is a data type and main is a function. So what exactly the data type and what exactly the function? So regarding the data, we're going to discuss in our today's class. But when it comes to functions, we can going to discuss about in upcoming videos. So don't need to bother about it right now. When we actually talk about the function, at that time you get more clear idea about the main function. Yeah. So as of now, it's a basic. You can assume that it's a syntax, right? No? Like regarding the function, when we actually talk about the function, then you can get some more idea about the function. At the time, you can get clear idea about the function. So and within int main function, we're having this open curly bracket and close curly bracket. Within open and close curly bracket, we are mentioning some body of the code is a body within the open and close curly bracket. We are mentioning the body. So what is a open and close curly bracket? So whatever we write within this open and close curly bracket, that part going to execute. That part comes under the main function. Consider. So it's a syntax of C for more readable, and if you have multiple functions, then it will be more readable for you what function within this double quotes. Within this within this open curly bracket and close curly bracket. So now this body of the code we have already looked at this display function, main function. Now we have the return zero. Even the return zero also. When we actually talk about the function, at the time you get some more clear idea about the return zero. Actually here we have the return type is integer. Int is nothing but integer. So so here also we are just returning integer only. That is zero. Actually, when we actually talk about the functions, we get some more idea, clear idea about it. So don't bother about it right now. So this is what about the structure of C programming. So now we'll jump into the comments. So what is comments? So comments. So actually, when you want to do any some kind of text or any kind of documentation, so whereas here I have written some documentation like I have some text like this is the header file. But when I run this code, Actually, I get some errors and warnings for this code and this thing. I get some warnings. Uh, Actually, comments are used in a program to document a program and to enhance its readability. Like I'll just give this double slash. So within double slash, whatever I write within this double slash, that part that part going to ignore this compiler. That point actually not going to execute whatever we write within this double slash. And here also I'll just do double slash. So now I'll just run it again. So see, now we don't have any warnings. So within double slash, whatever we write, that going to ignore by compiler. And even in the comments also, we have two types of comments. One is single line comment and another is multi-line comment. This is a single line comment. The double slash is single line comment. What about multi-line comment? Let me give it as well. For example, if I want to, there is a very long text or very long documentation you want to write, then again you need to type this double slash and everything. You have to do a correction manual, and that's going to be a very lengthy process. That is the reason we have like multi-line comments. So slash and how actually the multi-line comment starts is slash and asterisk. And when you already when you have done with this the text or documentation, then you can view this. Then you can close the multi-line comment by using the asterisk and slash. When you want to start the multi-line comment, slash and asterisk. When you want to end it, asterisk and slash. That's about the multi-line comment. So now we're going to look into this variables and the data types. So now we're going to look into the variables. So I'll just delete this line. Very simple. For example, if you want to, so what is variables? For example, if I have two numbers, for example, here I'm just taking 10 and 20. So variables are the names you give to the computer memory location and are which are used to store values in your computer program. For example, assume you want to store two values, one is 10 and another is 20 in your program. And at a later stage, you want to use these values. How are you going to use uh, when you actually declare with a variable? Then you can call this variable, and with the help of variable, you can get the data, right? Isn't it? So that is the reason we're going to use the variable here. That is what the That is a variable name, and ignore about this int. What is int I'm writing before variable name? So this is a variable name, b is variable name, and also here the a is also variable name. And then actually I forgot to tell you this before. This is semicolon, which we actually type this semicolon at the end of each line. The semicolon considered as end of the line. Then you have to mention the semicolon on each and every line. Like if it is the open curly bracket or a close curly bracket at the time you need to mention, and other than that you can then you have to mention this. Um, Almost every time you have to mention this semicolon. It considered end of the line. It's a syntax you have to follow, and if not, you can get some errors in warnings. So that's you have to look into it. And now comes to the rules for the variable name, naming the variable name. For example, the rules for the naming variable in C is that all the names must begin with letter or underscore. Like for example, can just give this Sai. You can give either Sai or underscore Sai. Either way, you can declare the variable either Sai or underscore Sai. But you should not use any other special characters other than underscore. Only underscore is going to be considered valid. And even you can't use this nine with the digits, and it's going to be invalid. Only you have to cancel underscore or letter the beginning of the variable. and can be followed by any combination of letters, uppercase or lowercase, underscore, or the digits also. Like for example, you can give Sai underscore Manohar or Sai the capital letters, and also you can give Sai some digits. Uh, can give meaning kind of this label, but one thing I will show. It's not going to be their value because here we are just using the space in between Sai and Manohar, which is invalid. The space between the variable names is invalid. Have to either you have to give underscore to merge the two names, or without underscore, or you can use capital letters. Anything you have to use, but a space between the two variable names is not valid. The variable is not valid. So now. Uh, this is so here we have declared the variable, and like this is the variable name, and like we are storing the 10 values. This is called as declaration. It's nothing but declaration. When you are assigning something to that particular variable, that is going to be the declaration. Initializing. This is going to be the initializing, and sorry, this is going to be like when you have this a is equal to 10, that going to be the initialization. When you actually type just, you can also type just int a here, and then later on sometime, like after some time, if you want, you can also add some value to it, like 5. That also, it is also valid. Actually we already used this. Let me use yeah, so it is also valid. You can use see here, like by just declaring the variable. This is nothing but declaring. When you actually by just be mentioning the variable and then semicolon, that going to be declaring. When you're actually initializing within the single, it could be initializing with the declaration. You can also initialize the c value at later on sometime. But it should be declared somewhere before you are initializing it. Then you can consider. This is about variables. Now we'll come to data types. So now we'll come to data types. We have three different types of data types. One is primary, built-in data type, derived data type, and user-defined data types. Uh, Now we're going to look into the primary data types or built-in data types. The derived data types, user-defined data types, we actually going to look into in our upcoming videos. Don't need to bother about it right now. Right now we just look into this primary data types. The first data type which we have is void. So what is void here? Let me open it. So so void is nothing but it's nothing but is void is nothing but empty. There is nothing, nothing, empty or nothing, nothing. So void is nothing but empty or nothing, but not zero. Like you can assume that it's not zero. That's remember that it's not a zero. Void is nothing but it's nothing or empty, but not zero. Zero is nothing but it's also some values. It's also considering as a value in C language. That we generally may or may not be considering. But when it comes to programming, we also consider zero also a value. So the void not going to be the zero, it's an empty or nothing. Yes. So now when it comes to the int, so int we have int, character, double, float. So we have different types of data types. So let me open the Google, and then I'll type data types and see. I'll just open this sheet for this thing. So we have the table here. So that let me explain that one. Yeah. So here we have the data types here. For example, so we have data types like integer. We have a long, float, character, long double, lot many things. So and also we have a lot more things as well. The short int. unsigned short into unsigned integer, but we generally use an integer. And these are the things we only use: integer, character, double, float, but not even we can also use such things. The short int. Generally, we use only these few things, but not this. You can also look into this range, the short integer. If you want to store the value within this particular range, then you can go for short int. If you want to store your data within this particular range, then you can go for int or unsigned short int. Based upon your data, you can decrease your storage, like the memory, everything, by just mentioning the data types, like with the help of data types. And we have this character here. We have also long unsigned long int, long int. If you have a very long, then we can consider with this. And we have the character here. So what is character mean by? So here actually this is a int is nothing but integer. It means integer. When you want to store the numbers in your within the variable, then you're going to choose int. When you actually want to store some characters, then you're going to declare the data type as character. Like I'm just going to characters I, like or else character name equal to all this, like name going to be the like it's not a single letter, right? So let me give some, yeah, or b only. Okay. Now character b equal to here, when you actually uh, initializing the character within the single quotes, you have to mention that particular character. I'm going to mention as character is nothing but single letter. So when you actually want to declare a character, then you have to within a single code you have to initialize the character. Mm. Character character is nothing is character. So yeah, so this is the character. So and the same way for double and float. For example, if you want to store a we want to store a like let me show that as well. What is this? So we have this double and float, right? So float is nothing but if you want to store some value, like the decimal value, like for example is equal to 2.5, want to store some value, then you're going to use the float. And even for the double for as well. And even we have, like, if you want to store for the double as well, double also is going to be the same. It is also a decimal value. But what is difference between the float and double is nothing but, like, for like see, for example, here in the integer also we have like multiple things. We have the range between the values and everything. The same way, when it comes to float also, like if you want to store the long decimal value, then you can go for double. For very short, then you can go for, like, see, we like for float is taking 4 bytes. When it comes to double, it taking 8 bytes. Long double, it taking 16 bytes. Based upon the memory, you can go for a uh, different type of data types. And this is what about the data types. And what is format specifier? And we also look into the range. Like within this range, you want to the number. Then you're going to consider within the range. Then you're going to consider the data type. When it comes, what about the format specifier? So what is format specifier? So okay, let me show that as an example. For example, I'll just before that, I'll just comment out these things. I'll just comment out. I'll just okay. I'm just commenting out. Okay. So what is the format specifier? Okay. Let me show that as well. Okay, for example, if like when it comes to hello world, like we're just giving this within double quote, I just building the hello world, hello world within the double quotes. I'm just printing the double quote, and yeah, I'm getting this hello world printing, right? So, but when it comes to actually ignore about these warnings, like because you're not using this variable as a reason, it's getting some warnings. And actually, so when it comes to if you actually want to print some numbers or float or character or double or float, whatever it may be, want to print any of this data type, then you have to mention this format specifier. Then the compiler will understand this is the format that I have to print. Then you're going to understand it and we're going to print accordingly. That is the reason we're going to use this format specifiers here. For example, here I'm just using this integer, right? So I'm going to use this format specifier percentage d. So now I'll open the editor and now I'm going to print this c here. See, I have given this finite. So I'll just going to print it as within the double quotes. I have to within this double quote, I have to specify the format specifier. That is percentage d. And after the double quotes, I have to just look into the syntax what I'm writing here. Within the double quotes, I have to specify the format specifier, and then I have to give this comma. After comma, I have to mention the variable name here. That is C. So before C, I have to declare the data type. So now it works. So yeah, and also I'll just give this action. Yeah. Okay. So now I'm going to print it out. Yeah. So actually, see, getting the subtitle because I'm already using this C. So yeah. Sorry. Then I don't need to declare it again. I actually already declared it. I'm just assigning the value, so I don't need to declare it again. So that's the reason it's getting error. Mm. Yeah. So now it's working. So it's perfectly printing the value. Without this format specifier, let me check that as well. So without this format specifier, I'll print it. Yeah. So there is nothing here. Just getting some garbage value here. So it's not printing. This is the reason. That is the reason we have to use this format specifier. And yeah, so that is the reason we have to use this format specifier. So that's all from today's class, guys. So we'll meet on again on another class. So um, until then, like just keep on practicing and whatever we have discussed till now. And I also look into this the website which I have opened here, like the Greek for Greeks. You can consider like it's a kind of documentation where you can find the all the documentation part regarding not only C regarding the computer science. You can find any kind of documentation here. Like if you already know about aware of what Greek for Greeks, then it well and good and fine. If not, you're completely beginner to computer science, then it's a kind of documentation website where you can find all the documentation. Yeah, so here you can look into this data types, and also if you want, you can also read out this documentation as well. Yeah, so you can look into this documentation. So that's all from today's class, guys. So yeah, so thanks you for listening. And yeah, so and if you like my work, please like, share, and subscribe to Code for Course. And thank you for joining.